Hi. So I've come up with an excellent exercise that you can do when reframing a past hurtful situation. And it was so awesome that I decided to share it with you because I think that it might be helpful for other people as well. If you're wondering if I've been crying, yes, I have. And it was brutal this time. I was doing psychological work. I regularly work through my stuff. And it makes me feel a freer person, a person that does not depend on past experiences anymore, a more confident, a calmer person. So this is very useful for me. I do this regularly. And what I mean by that more specifically is that when a situation happens that feels hurtful, especially when it feels disproportionately hurtful, there was objectively an insignificant small detail and you take it like the whole world has crashed, This is a sign that there's something deeper, that your reaction is actually triggered by something from your past where there was a similar situation, but it was much stronger, okay? This is something that is completely normal. It happens to everyone. We all have thousands of emotions trapped in our bodies. And the right way to work through them is to release them. When you start feeling something, you don't resist it, but you allow yourself, your body, to feel it fully. And it can be violent. I mean, sometimes you cry. Some people need to, hit a pillow. But this is the way that you release that emotion. And it overwhelms your body. You allow it to be present here until it goes away on its own. And this means that you actually let go of it. And now it's not trapped in your body anymore. We all do have it, believe me. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a business camp where I met Cesar Mormontoi, an awesome coach. He's very famous all over the world, an NLP specialist, a psychologist. He said that according to some studies that he's familiar with, an average person has around 5,000 trauma or micro trauma maybe from their childhood. And this is from stable homes, like from functional families. There wasn't violence where people did not hit each other. It was like a normal, happy family, we could say. So 5,000 trauma from the past. And then there's also the other situations where people grew up in dysfunctional families, dysfunctional environments, and they have like 3-fold, 5-fold, 10-fold trauma. And this sounds overwhelming because all of those things actually influence your life right now in the present. And if they influence your life in the present, that kind of means that you also are building your future based on that, right? Because you build your future in the present. So horrible. If you don't work through those trapped emotions, then they can build up and they can even, in some serious cases later, they can manifest as physical pain or diseases, right? Again, if it feels disproportionate, it means that there's something from the past that is much more serious. And so I started working through that situation. That was a really small detail that triggered all that, really. And I remembered a really painful emotional situation from the past. There was a situation where another person was kind of violating my rights. We had a confrontation and there was nothing I could do about it. I wasn't able to defend myself, to protect myself. And I felt very helpless. Like I can't defend myself, there's nothing I can do, but my rights are being violated. It was really, really hurtful, like I didn't have control over my life, When I tried to defend myself, to say something, that person actually threatened that they would break my arm. So, I mean, that's very aggressive. It was horrible. So to work through that situation, what I did was imagine that situation really clearly, like really go back there, imagine it, remember how you felt it, like feel it again in your body, in your mind, like what you think, what you feel. You feel this emotion and you allow, as I said, you allow it to overwhelm you. You allow it to like fill all your body. It is very scary. Most of us are so scared of feeling strong emotions that we block them, and so we don't release them. That's why they get trapped in our bodies. You just need to let it overwhelm you, even if it feels very scary, because it's really safe. Nothing will happen. Like, you will feel a strong emotion, but that's it. It won't kill you. You can pay attention to the way you feel it, exactly, like where in your body you feel it. How exactly does it feel? Maybe it feels like pain or pressure, like fog. It feels like freezing, cold. It can be really different. You can focus on that and you just take your time. Take your time. It normally doesn't last long. If you really allow it to happen, then it's just a few minutes and then the feeling disappears on its own. I felt it like pressure on my chest and also wanting to curl like this, to protect your internal organs. We do this when we sense danger, when we feel fear, trying to protect ourselves. After the emotion starts disappearing, to make this process much more effective and to complete all the cycle, you can start reframing that situation. You can imagine that situation differently. It did not end well. Like, in this situation, I just had to leave, right? I just had to escape. And this is not how I wanted it to end. I couldn't protect myself. And so you can reframe it. Yeah, I forgot to mention an important detail. I am very short compared to an average person. And so that person was bigger. They were even fat, and it felt like they have lots of weight, lots of power, So I felt powerless even physically, on the physical level. What I imagined to reframe the situation was that I started to grow physically and I became bigger and bigger and bigger, and I became taller than this person, bigger than that person. I expanded, I occupied more space, and it didn't stop there. I continued growing and growing and growing until I became taller than the buildings, taller than everything. And then the buildings only reached my knee, and then they only reached my shin. So I became disproportionately large. I could see the whole city. I could look above the buildings. I could see the horizon. And all the city was at my feet. It was so small. And that person, I couldn't even see her anymore. She was so small. And so she became so insignificant. Like, I didn't even care. I couldn't see her. I looked in front of me toward my goals, toward the life that I want to build, right? Toward where I'm going. If I stepped onto that person or the whole part of the city, I could literally smash it without any effort, right? But I didn't do that. And I just stepped over them and I started walking. And I left the whole city behind me. It was so insignificant. It didn't mean anything. All of that stuff disappeared. That person, the whole city around me, right? Everything disappeared and I left it far behind my shoulders. And I just was walking and walking, so large, such a giant, walking with huge, long steps toward my goals, toward what I'm building and what I'm creating and the way I'm changing this world. I feel like this is something powerful. It certainly felt powerful for me. And it felt very powerful to, complete this cycle and completely forget about this experience and leave it behind. Feel like it can't influence me in any way in my present. You could also apply it to different situations, but especially situations where you feel powerless. And then you can imagine this physical strength and power that you have. And maybe even future situations, right? If something happens and you feel that you take up space, that you are large and big and significant, that you have weight, that you have power, that your opinion matters, that what you want to say matters, right? If you feel this way, you also come off in a different way. Like, people sense you in a different way. So I guess you can also apply it like in the present, right? When something is happening. Imagine this, that you're so big, so large, so significant, and so powerful. That's it for today. I hope this helps. Happy working through your stuff. See you later.